Prevention is key to stopping addiction, and it can take many shapes and forms. Here to discuss some of the prevention strategies our county has to offer is Debbie Finch, the Carroll County Opioid Prevention Coalition Coordinator. Hi, Debbie.
Hi, Tim.
I'm really excited to have you on the program. I know that you do a lot of stuff in our community, being a lifelong Carroll County resident and a teacher, and now with this new role that you have at the Carroll County Health Department, I'd really like for people to understand what you do and what your role is as the coordinator.
I love to talk about it because I love what I do. As a prevention specialist with the health department, my role is primarily to work in the community and working towards preventing substance use and addiction. And we work with all ages, and that's something that I don't think people often realize, that we work with children, adolescents, we work with college age people, young adults, parents, grandparents, as well as seniors. And our messages are unique for each of them in what they need to know or do to help prevent substance use and addiction. One of my main roles is the Prevention Coalition Coordinator. Mm-hmm. And that was formed several years ago as a part of the federal government program, the Opioid Misuse Prevention Program. So I am the manager of that program, and we're doing it all over the country and in every county in Maryland. Every county has a prevention office, and so we do what needs to be done where we are. So we do some needs assessment, we find out where do we need to start and where do we go from here. So we have a lot of initiatives, but the first thing we did was put the coalition together. And that coalition now is about 100 members, and which is amazing for a small county, who represent agencies and interests all over the county. We have people from agencies like the school system, the hospital, state's attorney's office, of course, law enforcement, fire and EMS. We have community organizations involved, like the Boys and Girls Club, Together We Own It. We have churches, we have treatment centers, we have recovery homes, we have people in recovery, involved. On and on and on. And it's a wonderful thing that when we meet 6 times a year, we begin to build these partnerships where we're actually making progress.
So a lot of people hear about different coalitions and meetings that go on, and a lot of times there's not a lot of fruit produced from those. One thing I know, because I'm on some of the coalitions with you and some of the smaller groups, can you tell us a little bit about what's kind of spawned out of the bigger group?
Absolutely. I think the thing that I'm most excited about right now and the progress we're making is the Overdose Response Protocol Team. That's a big title, but we're known as the CANDU team. And it began with a call from Chief Ledwell of the Westminster City Police, who said, I think we can be more proactive with preventing overdose fatalities in Westminster. And that's really all it took. So we sat down and we talked about what we could do, and we began inviting people to come join us. And we ended up with about 15 or 20 people who care and are passionate about doing the work. So we've named ourselves the CANDU team, and we said every time we come back to this table to meet, we're going to have something new to share that we've done, and we've made a lot of progress. I'm very excited about it.
And I can attest to that because I'm on that committee, and it is one of the ones that each time we come back, progress has been made. There's a lot that we do in the county that I think people don't really know, like overdose response dinner or the first responder dinner, some of the different things behind the scenes. Can you tell us a little bit about some of the upcoming events that are going to be happening in the county?
Absolutely. Well, I'm going to start with the one you just mentioned. We have an annual event called First Responders Appreciation Day. And I think it began as a dinner when we could all meet inside in one place. And when COVID came, it was postponed for a year, and then we decided we're just going to take the food to them. And so the purpose of the Appreciation Day is to thank first responders for all that they do in saving lives from overdoses. It is not an easy job. And as overdoses have increased over the last at least 5 years, they've been going up. We are now at record highs for overdoses. Overdoses in Carroll County, the fatalities have increased, and it's very difficult. It's a difficult job they have. So we'll be delivering lunches to 24 different departments on May 18th, and we're also delivering a message of hope. And that's coming from people in recovery who are going to each station and sharing their story and saying thank you for saving me because this is what I'm doing now. And I think that's really the heart of what we're doing. It's helping people who do the difficult job see the benefit in it of the end.
Yeah, I think it's really important because I know compassion fatigue can set in with going out over and over and reviving someone from an overdose. And I've seen firsthand the response from the first responders, from people in recovery, actually walking up and giving them a hug and shaking their hand for literally saving their life. Some of the other things that I don't think everybody knows about, like one of the things we were talking about earlier today is going out and doing trainings with different people in the community. What do those trainings consist of, and who would be an appropriate person to have you come out and give an opioid training?
That's a lot of questions.
I
So
know.
I'm going to
Yeah.
start with the first one. What we do when we do opioid training is to tell people what's going on. You know, what are opioids? What's happening here in Carroll County? What are we doing to try to protect ourselves, to prevent misuse in our families, to prevent overdose, and certainly addiction. And so there are lots of ways that we can do that. We're starting with the library staff. Libraries are centers now for people to come in all of our communities, and the library staff have been trained in naloxone administration, should they need to use it. But we also thought it would be important to teach them about what's happening with opioids now, particularly since fentanyl has arrived, and now the counterfeit pills that are being produced in large quantities with fentanyl. It's so easy to overdose without even realizing that fentanyl is in the pill. So I'll be doing that training, and Beth Schmidt from our coalition will be coming along and doing additional naloxone training. So we thought the libraries were a great place to start. In addition, the libraries are going to be receiving quantities of a at-home disposal product for their own medications. So one of the initiatives of opioid misuse is to get rid of the medicines in our cabinets. In other words, we're limiting access to them. And for many of us, we like to keep them, especially if it's an opioid for pain, we think we might need to use it again. So by providing an at-home disposal product, they can walk into the library, get one for free, take it home, and dispose of their medications safely by putting some water in and tossing it into the trash.
All right, we've got maybe 1 minute left. So I want to give you a minute just to share. I know we have the overdose response dinner that's coming up in May. Is there any other things that you have coming up that people might want to hear about?
We have a number of community programs through the libraries that are coming up. We're going to be doing the TIPS program with you.
And what does TIP stand for?
TIPS stands for Threats in Plain Sight. Yeah. And it's a program for parents to be able to recognize some potential warning signs of substance use. And I love it because it's visual. You get to walk around the room and see if you can see them, and then you tell us what we missed.
Yeah.
And Beth Schmidt is going to be talking as well at a second program. Her son died of an overdose of fentanyl. She's going to share her family story, and she's going to present a mission of hope for the rest of us and what we can do.
Yeah, I love listening to Beth, and she just really takes it very personal and just does such a beautiful job. Well, Debbie, I want to really thank you for taking the time and coming out. I know the viewer has gotten a lot of good information, and I just really appreciate it.
You're welcome.
As you heard, prevention is crucial when it comes to fighting addiction and overdoses in our county. If you would like any information on the programs discussed in this show, call the Carroll County Health Department, 410-876-4449.